Hello, this is Group 6, presenting on recommender systems. A recommender system, put simply, is a system used to identify and describe attributes of items or actions and a user. With that information, the system can present recommendations to that user. This can take many forms. For instance, a recommender system could recommend articles to a user based on previous articles that user has read. Another example of a recommender system could classify a user into a particular group based on that user's previous buying habits. The system could then recommend products that are popular within that group. Essentially, a recommender system is like an employee at Blockbuster. You can tell that employee your favorite movies, and that employee will respond with recommendations for other movies that you might enjoy.
In this slide, I'll be talking about the need behind the recommendation system. As we all know, we are living in an era where information is increasing every day. As a human with a very limited processing capability, if we try to filter out the information, it would be very hard for us. Let's take an example of a Netflix. As we know, the content on Netflix increases every day. As a user, if we try to find something based on our interest from such an enormous collection of data, it would be very hard for us. That's why we need a system that can help us to make a better decision, or a system that can recommend us based on our behavior. And that's where the recommendation system kicks in. It helps people by decreasing their search space. It helps company by helping them to understand their customer so that they can target them in a pretty planned way, and thus helping them to increase their sales.
Hello, this is Prutha Kulkarni from Group 6, and I'm going to be presenting on content-based systems. So the content-based system is basically a domain-dependent algorithm, means it is a customized algorithm that is applied to a range of tasks within a single task domain, and it focuses on the characteristics of the item. That means, for example, if we consider an item movie, then the characteristics of the item could be the set of actors of the movie, the director of the movie, the year in which the movie was made, and the genre of the movie, because it tells you about what type of a movie it is. Like, is it a comedy movie or a horror movie? So let's discuss the steps that are involved in the algorithm. Initially, we create an item profile, and it represents a collection of records representing important characteristics of that item. Usually, the profile consists of sum of characteristics of the item that are easily discovered. For example, let's consider a book as an item. So it has a characteristics like author, the year of publication, and the genre. So once you have constructed the item profile, the user profiles are constructed after that. So that means we have to create the user profiles by analyzing the content of the item which the user has already explored. For example, if a user watches a comedy movie on Netflix app, if then it will be saved as a user preference. So that was about user profile. So once that is done, the recommendation is made to the user using features extracted from the content of the item that the users have already evaluated in the past. For example, if a user watches a comedy movie, then the user receives the recommendation of the movie that has a comedy genre. So this is how content-based systems works. So there are many websites which uses content-based systems, as mentioned by Ankit previously. It is used by the most famous Netflix app. So whenever a user watches a movie on a Netflix app, and you just like go back in the app, then you'll be recommended with a list of items, movie items, which resembles the movie content which you just saw. So likewise, there are many apps which uses the content-based systems.
Hi all, my name is Abhilash and today I am focusing more on the content-based systems and how the content-based systems are used to recommend the movies, the songs, and the website to the particular user. Content-based systems use this by using the item by keeping track of item profiles as well as the TF-IDF index. So the item profiles are the important characteristics or important features of that particular item, and it is a vector, and uh, the system maintains the uh, important features as well as the characteristics in this vector. So for a book, if we consider an example of a book, it can be a title, author, year of publication, genre of that particular book. So the user can be recommended a book based on the author of that book or the genre of the similar books. So the item profiles are discovered by using the TF-IDF scores, and the TF-IDF is a term frequency and the inverse document frequency. So the system counts which features are occurring more frequently in the item, and those features are considered in the item profiles. So the TF-IDF, which is a multiplication of the term frequency and IDF, that is inverse document frequency. This score is high for the most frequently occurring features in that item, and it is high for those important features.
Hi, I'm Snehal from Group 6, and we are talking about advantages and disadvantages of content-based approach. So starting with the advantages of content-based approach, it does not require the data for other users. It's independent. Different users having different tastes can get the recommendation. It can recommend completely unseen and unpopular items. That is, it can recommend new items. It provides explanation of recommended items by listing content features that caused an item to be recommended. Disadvantages of content-based approach are that extraction of important features is difficult. If the information is not enough to discriminate the items precisely, the recommendation might not be precise. Building a new user profile is difficult. It never recommends items outside a user's content profile. Also, content-based method provides a limited degree of novelty since it has to match up the features of profile and items. The recommendation might not surprise the user.
Now for our question. Which score can be used to evaluate how important